Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but fuck, it's expensive. Ah! I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Fuck. Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped, and I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event, and now I'm gonna be all puffy. I'm just, living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit that I have to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
Needing a man isn't about love anymore. It's about rent. Independence was sold as freedom, but nobody mentioned the interest rate. Life didn't suddenly get harder. It just stopped coming with someone to split the struggle with. Pride doesn't pay the bills, and the landlord doesn't take empowerment as currency.
So I am so hungover. Being single is hard work. It's difficult. Going out is hard. It's tiring. It's expensive. I thought being single I would save money. Complete opposite. Complete opposite. I am always out. I'm always having a drink. And I thought it was in my healing era. You got this girl, you don't need no man era. But I'm on Hinge. I'm on Hinge all the time. I'm matching. I'm talking to like 9 different boys. Like my Instagram, the DMs, the little bubble says 9. I haven't got the time. I haven't got the patience, and I haven't got the conversation. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the notification. I'm enjoying going onto my phone and it being like, you've been sent a message. And I'm like, exciting. I'm wanted. But they were like, do you want to go for a drink? I'm like, no, I don't. You've served your purpose. And now I'm kind of done. I think I'm going to do boy sober in May. I'm going to delete Hinge. I'm going to possibly ghost all the boys I'm talking to. Sorry, boys. But it's harder than I thought it was out here. Honestly, I need some help. I'm not sure I can do this alone.
Being single isn't exhausting because of men. It's exhausting because of performance. Talking to 9 people just to feel wanted is emotional fast food. Easy, empty, and addictive. You can scroll all day for validation, but attention doesn't keep you warm. It's loneliness dressed like freedom.
It's more expensive to be a single woman than it is to be a single man. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I am a 30-year-old woman living in London. I'm not actually 30, I turned 30 on Friday. But I am single, and I've been single my whole life. And I believe that it is more expensive to be single than it is to be in a relationship. But also even more expensive if you are a woman versus being a man. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I'm not going to give an extensive list, but I'm just going to give you an idea on some of the things, right? So first of all, lifestyle. Now, you've got the single versus being in a relationship. If you're single, you obviously have to pay for rent, bills, and all living costs on your own. Things like groceries are going to be more expensive because you can't do like as much bulk shopping because everything comes in packs of 2 and you're a single person. So things like that are more expensive when you're single. Even down to things, I posted a video about this the other day, but even down to things like you go to an event or you go to a wedding, you have to get a hotel room on your own. Like, you don't have anybody to split things with or to share the financial stress or load. Now, if you are a woman and you're not a man, it's even more expensive. And let me tell you why. Now, I know men are probably going to be in my comments being like, yeah, but when we date, we're the ones who have to pay for everything on the date. Like, blah, blah. Now, for me, I actually try my best to split a lot of it and do like drink each. If obviously someone offers to pay, that's lovely. But women have to more so uphold society's beauty standards. Okay, so we wear makeup, we fake tan, we get our hair done, our clothes are more expensive, we get our eyebrows done, we get our nails done, all of these things. Now, I know before anybody says that all of these things are a choice, yes, they are a choice, but if we don't do them, we get rejected from society's normal standards of what beautiful, woman looks like. So that's how it's kind of like you go against the grain, but you're going to get kind of, reprimanded, is that even a word? You're going to get punished for it. Or you go with the grain, you go with the standards, but then you have to spend loads of money on all of these things. So that's one way, because men don't have to do that stuff. Yeah, you get your hair cut, but it's like a tenner. You don't go and really get any other stuff done. Now, if you're a man and you're like, I really take care of myself, I groom myself loads, I do loads of things, I love that for you, but I'm talking average on stereotype,
It's not expensive to be single. It's expensive to chase a lifestyle built on optics. Those standards weren't made by men. They were born from competition. Your dad didn't marry your mom because of contour or lip gloss. Back then, value came from what you were, not what you could afford to look like.
So this is just going to be a little rant about how this country hates single people. You cannot succeed in this country if you're a single person, I swear. So I'm trying to move out of where I live now. I have a terrible living situation. And it's impossible. It's literally impossible. For a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house or apartment, everywhere I have looked near me is starting out at $1,200 to $1,400. How much is it for a 2-bedroom though? Starting out $1,200 to $1,400. So if I had a second person, this would probably be way easier. Not to mention, you cannot even have pets at any of these places. How are you gonna allow children that will absolutely do damage? But my cats who sleep all day, they can't come? And then Verizon, I need you to count your days. I'm supposed to be paying $85 for unlimited everything. Somehow, though, my bill is always $99. And I just got an email a few days ago telling me that my plan is going to be raised by $4. So I still have a $100 phone payment. So then I was looking to change phone providers because no. But that's pretty much the price anywhere for one line. Now, if I were to sign up and get 4 lines, it would be $100. So I can pay for 1 line, which is $100, or I can get 4 for $100. Make it make sense. What the hell? So they're making it to where you cannot survive this economy by yourself. And I don't like people. So I don't want people in my space all the time. I'm living with a nightmare roommate right now, and I am miserable. So I know everybody else has got it.
The country doesn't hate single people. It just stopped paying sympathy for lifestyle choices. Independence sounded empowering until it came with rent, taxes, and silence. You wanted freedom, and freedom showed up with an invoice. The bill isn't punishment. It's just reality cashing in.
It is so expensive to be single and to pay for all of these expenses by yourself. For context, I do live in the Bay Area, so it is hella expensive to live here, but this is essentially how much I pay in a month by myself. Close to $4,000 if I'm lucky. And again, it's not that I can't pay for these things, because obviously I'm out here living and thriving and a little hungry, but it's fine. However, it's usually the things that I don't account for on the monthly that internally kills me. Like, for example, emergencies. Y'all, it's not only costly, but the emotional expense to doing it by yourself is when you're in your bed and your car just broke down, you're like, damn, I just need someone to hold me real quick. Instead, you're out here holding your fucking stuffed animal. But also, I pay $1,700 to share a condo with another person. Can I afford my own place? Sure, but it would actually be cheaper if I was splitting those expenses with someone else. I can't tell you the amount of people that I know that are still in relationships because of the rent. Also the groceries. $600 on groceries? Like, Diana, what are you doing?
$4,000 a month to hug a stuffed animal. That's not empowerment. That's delusion on direct debit. You can fill the apartment with candles and crystals, but they don't keep you warm. Loneliness isn't self-care when it's financed. Peace doesn't come from comfort. It comes from purpose.
Nobody is talking about how expensive it is to be single, okay? Because when you're single, you don't have anybody that's out here buying you food, helping you with the bills, and if something breaks, you don't have no handy-dandy man around the house that's like, oh, I got it, babe, I'll fix it when I get home, or whenever he decide to fix it. No, you either got to get on YouTube University, or you got to go pay somebody. You got to go pay somebody else's man to come in your house and fix it for you. It's too expensive to be single, and people want to be out here cheating, and you better lock you one person down because it's too expensive out here to be alone, okay? Don't just go lock down anybody, you know, make sure they respectful and they love you, but y'all also got to understand it's a business. A relationship is really a business, okay? You got to invest in one another, and I need somebody to come invest into me because it's expensive to be single. Yeah, I want somebody to buy me some food, pick me up some food on the way home, or you know, buy me something just because. I don't know.
Calling relationships a business is easy when love's been replaced by leverage. You can't measure connection in ROI and expect it to feel human. The whole game fell apart when affection became a negotiation. At that point, no one's falling in love, they're just closing deals.
Can we also remember about single tax and how basically everything for a single person is much more expensive than if you were in a couple or if you shared with someone? Because I know people be like, oh, but you know, your salary, 34K, da, 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 you should be able to survive off of it and all of that. You ain't got kids. Yeah, but also living alone is more expensive. Food is more expensive. Everything is more expensive when you live alone. It's actually a joke. Even when it comes to traveling, like everything is just so much more expensive when you're alone. It's just not fair. But I ain't got a man, and I don't see me getting a man anytime soon. So off to work I go to make my hard-earned money.
The single tax isn't oppression, it's arithmetic. 2 incomes were always cheaper than 1. That's not patriarchy. That's division. You can't call it unfair just because independence costs more than partnership. Freedom was never supposed to be a discount.
I was having a conversation last night with my friend about the single person tax. Is that what we call it? I'm telling you, it's no joke. It's no joke when you're out here by yourself in the big bad world. Wretched capitalist society. You have to pay for everything. It's extortion. Like, on a monthly basis, my set outgoings are just under $2,000. Set being what I must pay. You know, rent, health insurance, electricity, Wi-Fi, etc. Set. There is no getting around that. Just under $2,000 a month. That's before I eat or live. And I gotta live. You know what I mean? No, don't get me wrong. I've got it covered, alright? I'm good. I got it, right? But I need someone to just like take the edge off of that. Split the rent. Do you know what I mean? The rent is the biggest expense, obviously. But yeah. And there's no relief for you. You know, I don't want to say most people are in twos because that's probably a bit presumptuous, is it? But like a lot of people are in twos. If my stuff was split in half, let me tell you, I'd be loaded. Well, I'd feel loaded. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm rich. Look at all this disposable income because my rent is only this much now.
Every complaint about solo living ends with, it's so expensive. But that's what happens when you try to live like a couple alone. 1 paycheck, 2 lifestyles. It doesn't work. The cost isn't financial, it's delusional. You wanted full control. Well, control comes with the full tab.
Hey, how y'all doing? Listen, you know what nobody's talking enough about? How expensive it is to just be a woman. Boy, I tell you what, if I were to pull out my Medea calculator and calculate all the ducats that I have spent just trying to be an adequate part of the female population, y'all wouldn't believe it. Listen, dermatologist this week for me and BB, we trying to get our skin in order, right? This hyperpigmentation, right? Cispera. Y'all don't know what it costs. Blew me away. Then we got home, we got 2 to 3 other prescriptions per person to try to keep ourselves looking like some baby. Then you got to have a face wash, you got to have a certain moisturizer, you need your lash boost because you want your lashes to pop, you need the curls to be popping, so you got natural hair products, you need your nails to be right, baby. Brianna's getting her hair braided. I gotta get mine done next week. Yeah. So fellas, if you got a lady in your life, she is out here fighting a good fight. So drop something in her Cash App today. Drop some on her Venmo. Drop something in her Apple Pay. Because, baby, we out here on the struggle bus just trying to be an adequate part of the population. I'm just trying to tell y'all. Holla if you hear me. Roll Tide.
Everything's expensive to be a woman until it's time to skip the extras. Hair, nails, lashes. That's not oppression. That's preference. You turned self-care into survival, and now you're blaming men for the maintenance plan. The price isn't the problem. The priorities are.
Why does it feel like I'm being punished for being single? Living on my own and paying for rent myself is one thing, but adding unemployment on top of that, it's been incredibly stressful. It's not just the financial pressure, it's the emotional weight of carrying everything myself. There's no one to split the rent with, no one to take in on the bills when things get tight, and no one to reassure me when my savings drop lower than I'd like to admit. And it hits the hardest at night, when I'm lying there wondering how I'm gonna piece it all together again. And it's just me and my overthinking brain all night long. And trust me, I absolutely love my independence and my little life in my little condo. But doing life alone during the hard seasons, it really tests your strength. But here's what I've learned so far. This period's forcing me to become stronger, more self-aware, and more resilient than I've ever been. And it's building a version of me I know I'll be proud of. To my friends in the same boat, how are we keeping our spirits high during this time?
Emotional pressure isn't the same as struggle. That's just loneliness wearing perfume. You can't reject connection for years and then complain about how heavy it feels to stand alone. Peace was never found by resenting what you chose. You made solitude a statement. Now you're stuck signing for the consequences.
To live in like 5 minutes, but just the thought I had is you cannot survive in London without a boyfriend because it's so expensive. Like, I cannot save any money when I'm single because constantly my friends are going out, they're constantly inviting me somewhere. I always want to go for brunch, I always going to go for like girly dinner dates. Obviously no one pays for you there, but ever since getting a boyfriend, I actually started feeling so much comfortable financially. Literally, the cost of living crisis does not account for you living alone in London. Like, it's impossible. Just forget about it.
You can't say you can't survive without a boyfriend. Like, that's news. It's math. 2 people share the load. 1 person carries it. It's not romantic. It's practical. The problem is, you traded partnership for validation, and validation doesn't help when rent's due.
3 very specific instances when I'm reminded that I'm single and I don't want to be is when my rent gets increased and I'm paying that by myself, when I go to a wedding and I get a +1 and I don't have a +1 to bring, and when I have no plans and I want plans but I don't want to leave my couch at the same time.
The rent went up, not your standards. Independence costs more because you wanted the whole house and no compromise. You thought you were escaping dependence, but you just replaced it with debt. Freedom was cheaper when it wasn't branded.
There's just something about feeling like you're wasting your youth because you're not doing anything and you have no one to do anything with.
Like, I have friends, but I feel like I don't have a set group of friends that do things together. They all have relationships, they all have other friend groups, and it's like I'm seeing all these people go to the fair, go to movies, go out, go to dinners, and I just don't feel like I have that. And it's really not even the things that they're doing, it's just the act of doing things with others and connecting with others, because yeah, people could say go out and do the things you want to do alone, like don't wait for anybody. But that's not the point. and I really didn't expect my 20s to be this way, but I'm 28 and I just feel so lonely all the time. There's so many places I want to travel to, there's so many things I want to do, but I don't want to do it alone. I'm also not dating, so it's really starting to get to me. Like, where do you find that? Where do you find a friend group? Where do you find friends that want to do things? Even when I had a friend group, I feel like it was so hard for us to plan something to do together, and just no one prioritized hanging out as much as I wish they would have, because they all had other friends. They all had someone to do things with whenever they wanted. Like those things just didn't mean as much to them as it did to me, because that was like my only interaction with people.
Wasting your youth being single isn't empowerment. It's denial dressed like self-discovery. You called men distractions. Now the silence is unbearable. There's no refund for the years spent proving a point. Time doesn't care about your healing era.
You're right. This really is ass backwards. And I really appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing this right now, because I want to have a conversation, because this is what single people feel all the time, is that they are just one step away from losing everything. And it is a terror, and it looms over us because there really isn't anybody to fall back on. Like, what fucking happens if you lose your job? Who's going to take care of you? This girl right here is going to take care of me. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will figure it out, just like you're figuring it out. And it's unfair as fuck that we don't have access to the same kinds of supports just because we don't have kids. People assume that because we're by ourselves, like, we'll just be able to figure it out. But living in your car because you can't afford astronomical rents isn't a solution. You know what I'm saying? It's a symptom of yet another problem, that we don't live in a society that supports fucking anybody. And it's what oftentimes will cause us to stay in situations or jobs that aren't necessarily healthy or fulfilling, because there are no other options, and we can't just like walk away and take a temporary break while someone takes care of us. But I want to point this out because I think a lot of people assume that you don't know struggle or you don't know fear because you don't have kids. It's just different. It's just different. The fear you have of not having anyone to fall back on is real, and I want to honor that. And before you open your mouth that it's not, we don't have kids and it's not hard, it's hard for us in a very different way.
Society doesn't owe single people comfort. It already gave you choice. You can't call yourself independent, then demand the benefits of partnership. Autonomy means standing alone. That's the whole point. You wanted a solo act, not a subsidy.
Okay, I'm just venting here, but like, this really sucks. You know, when you fill your day absolutely to the brim of things that your hobbies and all these things you do, but then when you're single, it's just like you end the day kind of just realizing you are alone, and there's like nothing to really change that in this current moment. Like, could I start swiping and just like randomly going on dates? Sure. Is it gonna make me feel fulfilled and like I'm with someone? No, it's gonna make me feel worse. But then there's also the part where like people tell you, oh, like find hobbies, do all these things. I ran for 9 miles, and then I made a YouTube video, and then I made another video for a brand, and then I filmed another video for a brand, and I also went to go read in the park for 2 hours. Like, and I made lunch and breakfast and dinner that were like healthy. So I'm like fully taking care of myself. I'm very well fed and healthy, and my mind is well fed too, and so is my spirit. But then there's always just the other end of it where it's just like, I'm still alone.
I did everything right. Always translates to I ignored reality. You followed trends, not wisdom. The checklist was never about men. It was about ego. Doing everything right doesn't mean you were doing anything real.
Genuine question for you. How do y'all afford to live alone in this economy if you're single in Canada right now? Just let me know. What are your tricks? How do you do it? Because like, it's almost impossible. Just let me know.
Asking how people afford to live alone in Canada is like asking how they survive the cold. They just get numb to it. That's what happens when independence becomes a competition instead of a choice. You wanted the solo life. Now you're realizing solitude doesn't come with discounts. Freedom feels nice until the rent hits like a snowstorm.
Okay, guys, I am getting on the bandwagon about taxes, okay? I have had enough. I've had enough. I really have. Like, I've been watching all these TikToks about our federal dollars and where they're going and the bullshit and all that. Well, can we just talk about people like me or us who are out there, who are older, single, and no kids, okay? How much taxes comes out of your paycheck? Mine, I get taxed the shit out of, okay? I take home half or a third of my paycheck. That's it, because the rest goes to taxes. Why? Because I don't have kids and I'm not married. So I'm the oddball out? Is that what they're saying, the government? Because you're not the norm, that we're gonna tax the shit out of you? What the hell is that? Are you freaking kidding me? And so I've talked about this a lot and to a lot of people, and it literally shakes me to the core. Like, what do you want me to do? Go get married to some Tom, Dick, or Harry and go adopt a kid just so I can save on my taxes? Is that what I have to do?
The tax system isn't punishing single people. It's rewarding stability. Two people building together were always going to get further than one playing solo. That's not discrimination. That's math with a moral. You can't out-legislate consequences.
No one is talking about how if you live in this economy, this day and age, and you are single and you pay all your bills yourself, don't have no help, you a badass. Because, baby, the price tag is high over here.
Living alone and paying your bills isn't a flex. It's adulthood. You don't get a medal for surviving your own decisions. Independence isn't an achievement when it's fueled by bitterness. Peace isn't in proving you can do it. It's in not needing to. If you're still watching, you already see what's going on. Hit subscribe. Not for motivation, just perspective. We're just calling things how they are.